Shalom, peace. It's your brother Gabar. This is Intelligent Hebrew. Today's lesson is wickedness of the enemy. And I'm not saying that anyone is particular is the enemy, right? Because Israel has many enemies. A lot of the nations do not like us. That's why it says gather together. Oh, nation not desired is talking to us, telling us to gather together. This is why Psalms 83 is mentioning all these different nations that dislike us, and that means your so-called whites, your so-called Arabs, your so-called different so-called African tribes, different Asian peoples, and so on and so forth. So I'm not going to go into exactly who the enemy is. I might say a name or two, but it is what it is, right? And let's get that. Isaiah chapter 47, verse 10. For thou hast trusted in thy wickedness, because they have trusted in their wickedness, stealing this land, oppressing us, oppressing the Native Americans, that stealing, oppressing the so-called Hispanics or Latinos of North, South, and Central America, right? Even the Chinese people have been oppressed over here in the Americas by the so-called enemy, right? They were put into the railroad tracks and made to make the railroads for these lands alongside of us. And all of them were burnt up and blown up by dynamite in those caves. In those there, you can see this in different movies, right? And so he says, "Thou hast trusted in thy wickedness." This is wickedness that he's done. Manifest destiny is wickedness that he's done. Saying that we are 2/5 of a man, that's wickedness that he's done. The three strikes law, that's wickedness that he's done. Stop and frisk was wickedness that he has done, right? Giving us welfare and telling us that the man can't be in the home, that's wickedness. Affordable housing with no man in the home, that's wickedness. Mass incarceration, that's wickedness. These are things that's wickedness, right? So he says, thou hast trusted in thy wickedness. This is why they continue to do these things. And what did they say about their wickedness, Father? Thou hast said, none see me. So nobody's looking at him. When he goes to the United Nations, nobody holds America and its wickedness accountable. No one holds England or London or France, accountable for the wickedness that they've done. These were the world rulers before America, right? And they're the parents of America in a lot of ways. And so nobody's held them, counted them accountable for the wickedness they've done. It's almost like nobody sees what they've done, right? Everybody just loves these places. Everybody loves these people. He says, thou hast said, none see me. Thy wisdom and thy knowledge, it hath perverted thee, but the things that they know and the things that they were able to accomplish, it has perverted them. It has made them untrustworthy. And they were already not trustworthy with each other. So then when it comes down to dealing with us or the indigenous peoples of this planet, they were not trustworthy. It says the knowledge, it hath perverted them. And thou hast said in thine heart, I am, and none else besides me. He put himself up there as God. And some people may say, oh, this is why he's painted himself as Jesus. As Jesus. In some cases that is, but also when you think about it, how he the way the things that he allows and disallows, the things that he makes into law, the thing that he makes the things that he's doing to the food, the things he's doing to the land and the air and the water. He's sitting in the seat. He's trying to say that he's God. I am. The Most High said that I am in Exodus, right? He said that I am, and none else besides me. He's saying like, no, but that's the Most High is the one and only true God, right? But we understand that these people who run this country and the other world ruling countries, actually, that they're the ones who are the wicked. They're the wickedness. This is the wickedness of those enemies, right? He says, their knowledge, their wisdom and their knowledge is perverted. I love that right there, because the stuff that they understand, the things that they're able to accomplish, the way they're able to oppress the people, the way they're able to distract and divide the people, these things are wickedness. This is how they're able to rule, right? Let's go to Psalm chapter 10. Let's get verse 6. Psalm 10 and 6. We're going to start at, Psalm chapter 10, verse 6. He has said in his heart, I shall not be moved. And this is why it don't matter where it is. Like they're there and how are they to conquer and lead people of all these different melanated peoples, these different countries, continents, and all over the place. How in Australia, where the people were a dark brown, how are they now the ruling class there? How are they the ruling class here in America? How does that work? When you guys you guys came over here with what? With war and with wickedness, with lies, deceit. Your knowledge had perverted you, right? That's what the scripture says. And that's why he says, he has said in his heart, I shall not be moved. They're not going nowhere. That's why the Most High is just fine with that. Y'all stay there until I come back with this judgment. We're going to put you in your rightful place, right? He says, I shall not be moved, for I shall never be in adversity. He said, I ain't going to never have no enemies. Nobody can come up against me. And when you think about it, I know that some of it in this day and age right now, and even throughout my childhood, it was always what? Up until I think like the wars in the Middle East, it was Gorbachev, a white Russian dude, right? And then we have Putin, who's a white Russian dude today. When you go back into even with the world wars, Germany was white on white, but these were white people trying to rule the world. These are at the time. So this is what they're saying. They shall not be moved. I shall never be in adversity. There, if it come time to, as long as it's someone of one of them that is going to rule and run the world, then that's fine. So they'll never be at adversity because they can come to terms with working with one another as long as they putting the rest of the melanated down, right? Verse 7, his mouth is full of cursing and deceit. See that? And fraud. Under his tongue is mischief and vanity. So he's all he's doing is deceiving us and he's always with have fraudulent behavior, fraudulent speech. His lies, his deceit is not true. And this is why with the Native Americans, for example, he said all these different treaties and so on and so forth. And even across the world, he may make these different treaties, but then he goes out and puts himself in power over these people by putting the person he wants to rule over them, right? But they have to impose American laws in these different places. If I am mistaken, I don't know if it's still happening right now, but somehow I think it was like France was taxing Haiti for the French people putting the Haitians in slavery, right? Like, what kind of sense does that make? So this is what I'm saying. This is how they do stuff fraudulently. Under his tongue is mischief. It's mischievous. It's wrong. It's wicked. It's evil, and it is vanity. It's going to end up being for naught. Because when the Most High said these things are right, they going when they find their true place, it's going to be different. Let's drop down. Stay in Psalm chapter 10. Let's drop down to verse 11. He hath said in his heart, God hath forgotten. He feel like the Most High ain't tripping on the wickedness that he's done because he hasn't been punished yet. From the time of Alexander the Great up until this day, they have been in power. Look at the state of everything today. The air, the land, the water, the animals that are extinct, excuse me. Look at the injustices across the world, right? So this is why he says, he had said in his heart, God hath forgotten. In his mind, either there is no God or God hath forgotten about this, right? He hideth his face. He will never see it. He thinking he's hiding the Most High's face. Let's go to let's stay in Psalm. We're gonna go to the 94th Psalm, Psalm 94, verse 2. Psalm 94, verse 20. Shall the throne of iniquity have fellowship with thee, with frameth mischief by a law? See what I'm saying? He make all these laws and they be mischievous. The things that he makes that he puts in the legislation. The 3-strike law, that was mischievous, man. Stop and frisk was mischievous. The law that I forgot how the wording is, so I can call it the right name. But the word that the law that they have for crack cocaine and powder cocaine, and how, because they knew the demographics of where it would be sold at and how it would be different depending on where it would be sold at and what was being sold. That was a law, mischief by a law, right? 40 acres and a mule was mischief by a law. The Trail of Tears, that's a mischief by a law. These people, they do these things and they make these things laws. It was lawful for them to enslave us. That was mischief by a law. And even when they freed us, it was mischief by law, because then they still had other laws that still kept us in, that still kept us bound to certain slavery type environments. The chattel slavery was, we weren't slaves anymore, but then we became sharecroppers, and then us being sharecroppers, we ended up owing those people who we were cropping the shares with, or for, or on the land that we was using, by charging us for materials, charging us for land, and then because we didn't have the money, they'll run us a tab or give us credit, and then we would have to pay them back, but then they would charge us more, keeping us in debt, and then we would have to work off that debt, putting us back into a form of slavery. Man, y'all look that up. That's real history right there. And so this is mischief by a law, right? Shall the throne of iniquity have fellowship with thee, which frame mischief by a law? So will this throne of iniquity have fellowship with the Most High? No. The answer is no. The Most High doesn't do things like that. His laws are just and fair and right. They don't allow this kind of wickedness. They're not going to put wickedness in the law. They're not going to frame it by the law. Let's go to Isaiah chapter 10 and verse 1. Isaiah chapter 10 verse 1. Woe unto them that decree unrighteous decrees, and that write grievousness which they have prescribed. And this is, look what it says. Woe means destruction. He says, woe unto them that decree unrighteous decrees, and that write grievousness which they have prescribed. He's saying, man, these laws, these wicked laws that they have, destruction unto them, man. This is why the Most High is always talking about his law, because his law is just and good and fair. The laws that we get today, you know, certain stuff, it's not right, and it targets certain people. And guess who it mostly targets? Is us, so-called black people. And I'm not talking about just here in America. I'm talking about scattered all over the globe. So we got to understand that we got to understand that we're not loved by everyone. We have a lot of enemies, and we have to come back to the Most High God and his way, so that way we can get the protection that we have, so we can be put in our rightful position as a nation of kings and priests, right? Woe unto them that, this is Isaiah chapter 10 verse 1, woe unto them that decree unrighteous decrees, who write these unrighteous laws, right? And write grievousness which they have prescribed. What is something that's prescribed? Is prescription. I'm not even talking about prescription drugs, but just even look into that. When they put Dr. Sebi in prison because he was healing people with herbs and cleaning up diets. If a doctor does that, they can lose their doctoring license. I forgot if that's what that's called, but y'all know what I'm saying. You can't always give the natural solution to the cause, because they don't want you to do that. They want you to take the prescribed drug so that they can make money off of you, keep you sick, and so on and so forth. This is wickedness, man. This is unrighteous decrees, right? Let's go back to Psalms. Let's go to Psalm, the fifth Psalm. Fifth Psalm. We might be in Psalms a little bit today, so y'all be patient with your boy. Fifth Psalm, the fifth verse. The foolish shall stand in thy sight. Thou hatest all workers of iniquity. So this is what the scripture is saying about the Most High, that the foolish because he's going to be foolish. What is his foolishness? I don't know if y'all know this, but some of these programs that they flying out of space for and all that other stuff is because they think that if they're out there, when the Most High come back, they'll be able to fight him. The scriptures say he's going to put that on their spirit. So understand that I'm not calling out too many names right now, but I kind of have, and so be it. But I'm letting y'all know that this is the wickedness of the enemy. Their wickedness is what? Is them standing in the sight of the Most High as if they can, with their arrogancy, with their proudness, then thinking that they can continue to oppress the whole world with these unrighteous words, with these unrighteous laws, right? He says, thou hatest all workers of iniquity. So when the Most High see him, he hates what he's done. He hates who he's been. He hates what he is. Let's stay in Psalm. Let's go to the 11th chapter. Psalm. Oh. Sorry about that, y'all. Let's go to Psalms 11. Go to verse 5. He said, his ways. Excuse me. Psalm 11 and 5. The Lord trieth the righteous, but the wicked and him that loveth violence, his soul hateth. So the Most High hates this. He hate them. He hated because what? They're wicked and they love violence. They love that. They love to go to war. They call warmongers. How the scripture talk about whoremongers? They're called warmongers. They love to go to war. War is big money, and they'll make money off of war. War is the way they can oppress the people. War is the way they can conquer more lands. War, they love war. They love to kill, right? And he says, the Most High said, he tried to wit the righteous, but the wicked and them that love violence, his soul hated. He hate them down to his soul, man. Let's go to Micah chapter 2, verse 1. And what we got to understand is is that these people are the ones who make these laws that oppress everywhere. These people are the ones who are giving us fake food instead of giving us, they got science to make fake food instead of giving us the science to grow real food, right? Micah 2, verse 1. Woe to them that devise iniquity and work evil upon their beds. They go to sleep thinking about this stuff, right? When the morning is light, they practice it. When they wake up, they put it into work. They go to sleep thinking about it, and when they wake up in the morning, they make these things happen. They put these plans and these laws into practice. They make it happen immediately. You know what? Pass this, build this, agree with this, veto that. Right? This is what they're doing. They go to sleep thinking about it. If you ever watch your public access channel, sometimes it has something on there, or I guess it's like CNN or CPSNN or something like that. But it has it's a channel where the camera's on in Senate all the time, from the nighttime to the daytime, to the morning time to the nighttime. Then this is what it's saying: woe to them that devise iniquity and work evil upon their beds. And the time you go to sleep, that channel was on, and they doing some stuff. When the morning is light, they practice it. Why? Because it is in the power of their hands, because they can do this, right? And they cover fields and take them by violence, and houses and take them away. So they oppress a man and his house, even a man and his heritage, and they've oppressed our heritage. They've taken us from our land. They've taken our housing, right? There's land that belonged to so many American blacks that the oppressor has taken through his different laws, and we don't know them, or we don't know how to deal with them, or we don't know the legality, the legal ins and outs of it. And so he's been able to take these things. How? Go back up to verse 1. He says, they devise iniquity and work evil upon their beds. They go to sleep thinking about it. When the morning is light, they practice it. They put it into work. They make it happen because it is in their power, is in the power of their hand, because they're able to do that. They've made their laws to benefit them. The same thing with the $5 Indian, man. Right? And that's a conversation I'll try to touch on in this lesson. And they cover fields and take them by violence, right? It's been many a land that was here after we got free. That it's been many of us who had land, and they took it by violence. And houses and take them away. So they oppress a man and his house, even a man and his heritage. All of us, all Israel, we've been oppressed with this, right? Therefore, thus saith the Lord, behold, against this family do I devise an evil, from which ye shall not remove your necks, neither shall ye go haughtily, for this time is evil. So it's them, it's for them right now, right? And this is what this is. I can't get too far into that, but if y'all ever get a chance to, y'all read Isaiah chapter 2. He's going to touch on that judgment of theirs, right? Let's go to Job chapter 7 and verse 24. Job 7 and 24. So we got to understand that the people that we are being oppressed by, our so-called enemies, These are people who have the power to do this wickedness because they're the ones who's sitting at the heads of the state, the heads of the county, and the heads of their mayors and governors and congressmen and senators. And there are presidents or vice presidents, and there are, are all of that. They are these people, right? Let's go to Job chapter 9, verse 24. Job 9 and 24 reads, "The earth is given into the hand of the wicked." Who rules the earth? Man, all you gotta do is look up look up the United Nations, look up who they are, and then look up who runs what, though. Don't just look at the faces because they're gonna have some African people up there. They're gonna have some Asians up there. Look at who is what, though. Look at their fraternities. Look at their sororities. Look at their Freemason lodges and who they belong to. Look at because these things tell you who they're run by or what they're about and who they're connected to, right? And the crazy part of it is more times than not, they're all connected together in some kind of form, shape, or fashion. These are the enemies. And they're still run by the same dragon. They still ruled by the same demon. They're still ruled by that same spirit. They still ruled by that same seed, right? Job 9 and 24. "The earth is given into the hand of the wicked. He covered the faces of the judges thereof. If not, where and who is he?" So who are this is why there's no justice in this planet, especially for the children of the Most High God. Because they're covering the faces of the judge. They're making sure justice is not being given. They're making sure the judges don't see the truth. And don't get me wrong, yes, they do see it, but they're making sure that it's like, no, they ain't got to worry about that. Not with them. We go through something. We don't get no visit from different people in the political office, and I'm not going against any particular people, but when I think it was the Chinese were being assaulted or targeted, they came and talked to them and then made the like a crime a bill against any kind of violence or any kind of anti word against them, right? The same thing with the anti-Semitism. But we don't get that same respect, right? This is why it says he covered the faces of the judges thereof. They don't give us the same justice that others would get. Let's go to Psalms. Let's go to Psalms chapter. Let's go to the third Psalm, the second verse. Third Psalm, second verse. "Many there be which say of my soul, there is no help for him in God. But thou, O Lord, art a shield for me, my glory, and the lifter up of mine head." So this is us speaking. And a lot of people feel like those of us who we lean on our Father, we have faith and belief in and we understand that our strength and our courage and our protection comes, and our leadership and guidance comes from the Most High God, our Father. And a lot of people feel like, why are we doing that? And they see us in a lot of different ways. And I'm speaking not just to us in the Hebrew Israelite community. I'm talking to the Christians too. They see in a lot of the faith that we may have in the prayers. They see the faith that we have when brothers and sisters march or protest. They see the faith in that. But they also are looking at like what? They said, "Many there be which say of my soul, there is no help for God. There is no help for him in God." They're saying like these dudes, they let their God and all, but there ain't no help in that. Y'all praying and worshiping and trying to find it and figure it out, but God ain't there. Ain't no help for him in y'all. So they looking at it like this is why they feel like that we gotta that we need to stand up for ourselves, that we need to vote or we need to do this. But what we need to do is come back to the Most High. Vote for the Most High. Put the Most High as the leader, as your president, as your king, as your lead, as your director, as your guide, right? Let's follow his way. Let's follow his commandment and watch him lead us out of it. But the wickedness of our enemy has got us thinking that we need politics. The enemy of our wickedness, the wickedness of the enemy has us believing that we need money. And while we do need money, money is just a defense, but it also does not help us morally and civilly as a civilized nation, right? Let's go back to Job. Let's go to Job 11 and verse 20. This is the book of Job, chapter 11, verse 20. "But the eyes of the wicked shall fail, and they shall not escape. and their hope shall be as the giving up of the ghost. See, they're going to eventually, when we come back into power, they're going to understand, and they're going to have to bow down to us. So they're going to have to come get led by us. They're going to be rebuked by us. They're going to be taught by us. And they're going to what? He says, but the eyes of the wicked shall fail. Eventually, they're going to see it, and their eyes are going to fail when they see what's going on, when they see who they've been oppressing all these years. And they shall not escape. And they're not going to escape the judgment. The Most High is going to get, the punishment that's coming to them that's not going to repent, that will not submit unto us. They're not going to escape that judgment, and they shall not escape. And their hope shall be as the giving up of the ghost. Their hope is going to be in death. Because when the Most High come, man, if you ain't going to get down with us and these commandments and being led and ruled by his people and taught by his people, then death is what you're going to get. Oppression is what you're going to get. This is what the scriptures say, right? Isaiah, that's what Isaiah chapter 5, verse 20. Isaiah chapter 5 and verse 20. Isaiah chapter 5, verse 20. Woe unto them that call evil good and good evil, that put darkness for light and light for darkness, that put bitter for sweet and sweet for bitter. Woe unto them that are wise in their own eyes and prudent in their own sight. So this is what he's saying. This is, man, who has made it the evil good and the good evil? And I'm not talking about people. I'm talking about, like, again, these laws, man. The law of the land. The George Zimmerman got off for standing his ground against a teenager, man. He followed him, assaulted him, and then when he couldn't fight that boy, he shot that boy, and he got off on that, man. That's wickedness, man. That's evil for good. He assaulted that boy and got punched on, and then that was evil for good. You shouldn't have been doing that anyway. That was evil for good. I mean, that he was getting his just desserts. But then when he killed Trayvon, that's evil for good. They let him get off of that because they said he was standing his ground. Right? So woe is destruction unto them. Excuse me. It is destruction unto them that call evil good and good evil, that put darkness for light and light for darkness. Right? What is light? Light is righteousness. Light is these commandments. And he said dark, and he said, you're going to put the darkness for light and the light for darkness. What they say, we don't got to keep his law. We don't got to keep his commandment. We don't got to do it his way. Right? We're supposed to do what the law of the land says. We're supposed to be Americans. Well, if you pay attention to America, America is contrary to the scriptures. The holidays, the New Year's, the food, treatment of people. The laws and the judicial system of this society here in North, South, Central America, but we're everywhere where the enemy rules, right? Where the oppressor rules, right? What does he do? He calls evil good and good evil. And the Most High is saying, woe unto him, destruction unto him, and that put darkness for light and light for darkness, and put bitter for sweet and sweet for bitter. And why would they do that? Look, he says destruction unto them that are wise in their own eyes, because in their mind it's okay to be part of the alphabet community. That's fine, even though we're supposed to be one nation under God. We're supposed to be a God-fearing nation, and God doesn't agree with that, right? These are the things that when you pay attention to some of these things that our society is doing. Whether it's when it's legal, but look at the things that they're doing to our air, to our water, to our land, to our food, right? These things are evil, but they're evil, but they're made out to be good. And this is the wickedness, or excuse me, it says, woe unto them that are wise in their own heart. This is wisdom in their eyes. They're prudent. They're doing the things that they want to do. They think they're so smart, right? When that's wickedness. The Most High said destruction unto them for that. Right? Let's keep it going. Job chapter 20 and verse 6. Job 20 and verse 6. Job chapter 20, verse 6. Though his excellency mount up to the heavens, and his head reached unto the clouds. So even though he sits really high above everyone, yet he shall perish forever, like his own dung. He shall come down like a pile of shit, right? They which have seen him shall say, where is he? It's going to be a point where we're going to be like, man, where is Esau? Where's the white man? Where's the oppressor, right? And he shall fly away as a dream and shall not be found. It's going to be a time we're going to be looking for him. We ain't going to be able to find him. He shall be chased away as a vision of the night. Verse 9, they also which saw him, so with those of us who we know who he is, we know what he is. Those of us who saw him shall see him no more, neither shall his place any more behold him. So he won't have no place in this world. Now, I'm not saying that they're not going to exist. I'm saying that when we come back and we rule the kingdom, that they're gonna have to submit unto us and come learn how to be righteous all over again. Not all over again. They're gonna have to learn how to be righteous to begin with. They're gonna have to be fair to begin with and just. They're gonna have to give up their rulership in these governments and in these kingdoms and give them back to the rightful rulers of the king that are kings and priests that the Most High intended to set up. You so-called black people scattered to the four corners of the earth because of the transatlantic and Arab slave trade. The Most High intended for us to rule the world. We are that nation of kings and priests that the Most High God, the Bible, was talking to. So it's going to be a time when they're not going to be around, or if they're not submitting to us, if they're not learning from us, if they're not being ruled by us. When I say ruled, I mean according to the commandments of the Most High. I ain't talking about according to our emotion. I'm talking about according to truth and righteousness, right? According to fairness and justice. But it's going to be a time when it's going to be a lot of them who they're not going to want to submit to us. They ain't going to want to be taught or led or guided by us or rebuked and corrected by us. So it's going to be a time when they ain't going to see them no more. That's what we just read. He said, let's start at verse 6. Though his excellently mount up to the heavens and his head reach unto the clouds, so even though right now he's at the top, right? Yet he shall perish forever. He's going to perish. He's going to fall. He's going to rot. He's going to perish. He's going to suffer like his own dung. Dung is crap. They which have seen him shall say, where is he? And people who are going to be looking for him will be like, where is he at? I don't see him no more. Where he? Verse 8, he shall fly away as a dream and shall not be found. Yea, he shall be chased away as the vision of the night. So he's going to be disappearing like when you wake up from a dream. Or like a mirage, when people be in the desert and they really thirsty and they're hallucinating and they think they see something, but it disappears when they get to it, right? They're going to disappear like that. Verse 9, the eye also which saw him, so those of us who used to see them and know who they are, shall see him no more. We're not going to see him anymore. Neither shall his place anymore behold him. It's not going, the places where he was ruling, he ain't going to be there no more. Get out of here, right? No nation is going to want that. Let's go to Ezekiel 33, verse 15. Ezekiel chapter 33, verse 15. Ezekiel chapter 33, verse 15. If the wicked, this is the only way, if they want to come back and they want to deal with us and they want to be in the kingdom with us, look what it says. If the wicked restore the pledge and give again that he have robbed, so he got to give back all the land that he's taken in Australia, in the so-called Middle East, which is actually just Northeast Africa, in Africa, in the Americas, in North, South, and Central America. He has to give back. He says, what? If the wicked restore the pledge and give again that he hath robbed. So he had to give back all the land, all the natural resources, all the animal skins, right? I guess we have to pay for that some kind of way, right? All that stuff that he's robbed. He had to give that back and give again that he had robbed. Walk in the statutes of life. What's the statutes of life? The law, statutes, and commandments of the Most High God. These commandments, right? And where is he going to get that understanding from to do this? From the Most High God? No, he gonna get it from us because the Most High God is gonna put the world in our hands and let us rule. So when we come back to rule, is how many of them are gonna say, "Yeah, I can submit to the so-called black man. Yeah, I can let him rule me. Yeah, I can let him govern me. Yeah, I can let them correct me. Yeah, I can let them rebuke me. Yeah, I'm gonna fall in line with their way, which is really their way is actually God's way. How many of them can really say that? He says, if the wicked restore the pledge, give again that he had robbed, walk in the statutes of life. Right? We're gonna get that in a minute. Walk in the statutes of life without committing iniquity. Now, that means if they can't sin, they can't make no mistakes. They got to stay all the way right, right? He shall surely live, he shall not die. None of his sins that he hath committed shall be mentioned unto him. He had done that which is lawful according to the law and right, he shall surely live. So this is how this is the what we have to understand. This is the only way he can get it back. It's the only way the oppressor, right? Our enemies can get into the kingdom. Watch this. Let's go to Isaiah for make sure. I don't want to be telling y'all no lies. I be knowing the books. I don't always be knowing the my chapters and stuff. Look. Let me get a couple more scriptures just showing this point. Isaiah chapter 2, verse 1. And it shall come to pass in the last days that the mountain of the Lord's house, the mountain that is the Lord's house, that represents us, the children of Israel, you so-called black people scattered to the four corners of the earth because of the transatlantic and Arab slave trade. You are the mountain of the Lord's house. You are the children of Israel. You are God's chosen people. You're his children according to this Bible. So when it's talking about the mountain of the Lord's house, it is talking about us, right? It says, the mountain of the Lord's house shall be established in the top of the mountains and shall be established above the hills. The other mountains and these hills that it's talking about are the other nations. Are these other nations willing to submit and let us rule them? Watch. What does the prophecy say? And shall be exalted above the hills, and all nations shall flow unto it. They're all going to come to us. When they come to us, what are they going to say? Verse 3, and many people shall go and say, come ye and let us go unto the mountain of the Lord, the people of God, the children of Israel, the so-called black people scattered to the four corners of the earth because of the transatlantic and Arab slave trade. Right? He says, let us go to them, to the house of the God of Jacob. Jacob was our forefather, for those of you who don't know. Abraham, there's the father Abraham, who had a son named Isaac, who had a son named Jacob, Jacob's name was changed to Israel. Israel had 12 sons. They became the children of Israel. The grandchildren, the children of those children are us, so-called black people scattered to the four corners of the earth, right? Because of the transatlantic and Arab slave trade. It says, to the house of the God of Jacob, and he will teach us of his ways. God's ways is the commandments, right? And we will walk in his paths. So then they will walk. They're going to go to us, and we're going to teach the other nations the Most High's ways. That's the job of us as a nation of kings and priests. For out of Zion shall go forth the law. We're going to rule them by the law and the word of the Lord from Jerusalem. And we're going to, and it's going to be not just the law of the land. It's going to be the law that's going to come out of the Most High God from Jerusalem. And he shall judge among the nations. So the Most High is going to judge the nations using us, and shall rebuke many people. And they shall beat their swords into plowshares and their spears into pruning hooks. And nation shall not lift up nation against nation, neither shall they learn war anymore. So when we come into rulership, all the war is going to change. So let's let that flow a little bit. He says, now remember, the mountain of the Lord is us. Okay. The other mountain is the nations, and the hills are their governments. And it shall come to pass in the last days that the mountain of the Lord, the children of Israel, shall be established in the top of the mountains, the other nations, and shall be exalted above the hills, which is their governments. And all nations shall flow unto it. They're going to go to the nation of Israel. And many people shall go and say, come ye and let us go unto the mountain of the Lord, to the nation of Israel, to the house of the God of Jacob. They're going to come to us, the house of the God of Jacob, and he will teach us of his ways. Jacob is going to teach the nations of God's way, right? We're going to teach the nation of God's way, and we will walk in his path. And they're going to say, we're going to walk in God's path that the nation of Israel has taught us. For out of Zion, out of us, shall go forth the law, the laws of the Most High. We're going to rule according to that law, and the word of the Lord from Jerusalem by the word of the Most High. And he shall judge among the nations and shall rebuke many people, and they shall beat their swords into plowshares and their spears into pruning hooks. Nation shall not lift up sword against nation, neither shall they learn war anymore. So once we become rulers, they're not going to go to war with anymore. They no need for atom bombs and nuclear bombs and hydrogen bombs. Ain't gonna be no need for that, because we're gonna be ruling according to the Most High, according to his law, which is righteous and fair and just, right? Watch this. Isaiah chapter 14, verse 1. For the Lord will have mercy on Jacob. So he's going to, that's us, so-called black people scattered to the four corners of the earth because of the transatlantic and Arab slave trade. We are Jacob. We are Israel. So he says, for the Lord will have mercy on Jacob and will yet choose Israel and set them in their own land. So he's going to put us back to where we belong, in our own land. And the strangers shall be joined with them. So the other nations, they're going to be there with us, right? And they shall cleave to the house of Jacob. They're going to be trying to be with us. They're going to try to be like us. They're going to want us. They're going to want us. They desire us, right? Not just sexually, but intellectually, physically, as governors and presidents and senators and leaders and doctors, as healers, as lawyers, right? As teachers, as professors. That's what they're going to cleave unto us for. And the people shall take them. Who is the people? The children of Israel shall take them. And what? And bring them to their place. And the house of Israel shall possess them in the land of the Lord for servants and handmaids. And they shall take them captives, whose captives they were. And they shall rule over their oppressors. So the wickedness of our enemies, the oppressors that have done us wrong all this time, and all the wickedness, we're going to rule over them. They're going to submit unto us. They're going to cleave unto us. They're going to say, teach us the way of the Lord. Let us walk the way you teach us to walk. Govern us and rule over us, right? That's what we just read in Isaiah chapter 2. He says, and the people shall take them and bring them to their place, and the house of Israel shall possess them in the land of the Lord for servants and handmaids, and they shall take them captives, whose captives they were, and they shall rule over their oppressors. And it shall come to pass in the day that the Lord shall give them rest from thy sorrow and from thy fear and from the hard bondage wherein thou was made to serve. And so in that day, we're not going to worry about the wickedness of our oppressor, because we're going to be the ruling class. We're going to be back to the status that we're supposed to be as a nation of kings and priests, y'all, ruling the world under the Most High's law and under his commandment and righteousness and true justice, and according to knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. Again, like he said, in that day, the Most High going to give us rest from our sorrow and from our fear and from the hard bondage. That, hey, y'all, for all y'all that work that 9 to 5, man, ain't gonna be no more getting up in the morning to go to work, because we're gonna be in rulership, right? He says, whereas thou was made to serve. We had to work, right? Because we didn't serve the Most High in righteousness. That's why the wickedness of our enemy got us working 9 to 5s, working 10-hour shifts, 12-hour shifts, working 2 jobs, and still not having enough at sometimes. Excuse me. I hope that this planted a seed. I hope that this, or if it didn't plant the seed, I hope it tilled the ground or watered the grass. But of course, the Most High give the increase. I give all honor and praise and glory to the Most High, and none for myself, y'all. I'm your brother Gabar, and this is Intelligent Hebrew. With that, say shalom. Peace.